Okay, can you hear me now? Yes. Okay,
Mm,
what's
mm.
up, Well
Yes,
Squad?
man.
Man, your girl been under the weather. I've been like not feeling well. And I thought like on last week I said I'm just gonna try to do the class. But the thing was like I would start talking and then I would begin coughing like unexpectedly. So I have my water here. Hopefully today will be a lot better. Drop your skin and face routine, girl. I don't know who that is, but I do not have a solid. I use Dermalogica, like the facial cleanser, and that's really it. I'm gonna give people a couple of minutes, like 2 more minutes to come in before we start. We got some people in here though. We got some participants today. Y'all showing out today. If you can come in and just I set it up to where it would mute everyone's mic upon entry, but sometimes it doesn't work. I think like when a lot of people start coming in, it may start glitching or messing up. If it does, just mute your mic so that everyone won't be hearing your conversation or your background noise or anything going on in the background. The audio is cutting in and out. Oh no. Still look normal. Okay. Clear here. Okay, great. Man, yeah, I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was like a virus that just like came and went, but it started on like last Sunday and I can just feel I was cooking dinner and I can feel like my body, like my entire body was feeling so sore. And then the next morning I woke up and my temperature was like 103. So immediately everyone in the house kind of thought I had COVID, but I didn't have COVID. And then as the days went on, it like kind of started to like leave and my fever began to reduce. But now it's like something is kind of like just stuck in my throat or something. I've just been trying to drink tea and everything. Thank you. Yeah, I am starting to feel a lot better. Yeah, so this will be recorded and it's going to be saved in the Well Squad University. So if you start with us and then you have to leave for any reason, this whole thing will be recorded and you'll be able to access it anytime you want to. They cracking jokes already. Yeah, y'all be nice. All right, we're gonna get started. 2 minutes after. So, what I wanted to do is just kind of go over my strategy that I use for like finding options trades that I'm going to get in, my entry and everything like that. It's pretty simple, but I think like in the Wealth Squad, we have a combination of teachers or providers that trade the strat, right? In which I don't know how to trade the strat, and I want to learn one day, but I've never took the time to just sit down and like learn about the strat. So I think we have like providers that trade majority like with the strat, and then we have a lot of members that have taken the time to learn how to trade the strat also, which I commend you all because it works, right? But I just kind of want to just go over my trading strategy. It's very simple. I think like I learned I learned like how to just swing trade or just swing trading regular stocks, right? So that's like the basis of my options trading strategy is my trading strategy for regular stocks. So I don't know if it's the same with the strat or not, but if you don't know how to effectively read a stock chart and trade regular stocks, then I think that it's going to be much more harder for you to just jump into options, right? So if you are in this class right now or on this Zoom call and you have no idea how to read a stock chart and how to effectively swing trade regular stocks, then this class is still for you, but I think that it will be more beneficial for you to go back in the Wealth Squad University and look at some classes on how to effectively read a stock chart, right? How to trade regular stocks or how to read a stock chart. Chris and I made a beginner's video at the beginning of the Wealth Squad. So like a couple years ago, right? And if you go to the whiteboard, he posts it often in the whiteboard. That will be a good video for you to start with because that needs to be the basis or the foundation of your options trading strategy. I think even if you're trading with the strat or whatever, like you need to know how to read a stock chart and how to identify certain indicators that tell you when to buy at a low price and when it's good for you to sell at a higher price. That's the basis of making money in the stock market as a whole, right? Whether you're buying stocks or whether you're buying options contracts, you need to know how to identify buying at a low level and then selling at a higher level. That's how you're going to begin making money. She posted about money flow before. I think that's what she learned first. Right. Yep. So that's what I learned first. With Gerald Peters' money flow strategy, where you are watching the 4 steps of the money flow trading system, steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And you're buying at the either stage 1 or stage 2 breakout, right? And then you are selling at a stage 2 or before it enters stage 4. That's kind of like the basis of my stock trading strategy, right? Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming through, right? Y'all making me feel really special right now. So this class is not going to be basically explaining all of the small basics, right? As I said before, I'm going to just go through my trading strategy as I would be trading options today as the crystal right now, not learning from the very beginning and what indicators I will use, not learning like what is the very basic building blocks of trading, right? So if you kind of like new to the Wealth Squad or you're new to trading as a whole, new to trading options, some of this may be kind of unfamiliar to you. That just means that you just need to, you can go back and watch this video, but you also need to go back and start at a more basic level, right? So let's just jump straight into it, right? I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and then I'll try to like come back and come to the chat and answer any questions that you have before I kind of go on to the next step. So utilize the chat. I'll scroll up and catch any questions if I missed them. All right, so let me see if I can share my screen. I haven't done a Zoom class in a long time. So let me see. Oh, boom, right here with desktop one. I think this is it. Ooh. Okay, bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to learn. Choose desktop view. Okay. Thinkorswim. What's this one? Share. Okay, privacy. Ooh, okay. Okay, let me see if I can do it again. So where can you find the money flow trading strategy? If you follow at Full Auto 11 on Instagram, if you go in his bio, all of his ebooks are there, right? So I started with You Don't Have to Die Broke. I think that's the name of it. And then I moved on to the learning the money flow trading strategy. Does anyone in the chat know how I would share my screen?
Yes, Crystal, I just go to the green button that says share screen.
Okay, thank you. So that's what I'm trying.
Did you put that?
Desktop advanced.
So can you see participants chat, share screen, recording reactions at the bottom of the screen?
Share. Okay, open system preferences.
Okay, can you see where you can mute your video, start video?
Yes.
Can you see your participants? You have like 778.
Yes, I see the participants.
Charts, then you should see.
You might have to go to your security settings. If you got a MacBook.
Okay.
Okay.
Go to system preferences.
Let me see.
The little gear button at the bottom, it should be, of your MacBook.
So here, system preferences. Wow, I really apologize for this. I thought it was gonna be pretty simple. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, let me get this together.
Hey, Crystal, I think I might have a solution for you.
Okay, what is it?
So if you go to system preferences, I'm sure you're on a Mac, right? So
Yes.
if you go to security and privacy,
Okay.
and then you'll see 4 tabs. It'll say like general, file vault, firewall, and privacy. You want to click on privacy.
Okay, I'm on privacy now.
And there should be an option on the left-hand side. It should say screen recording. And then Zoom, it'll say zoom.us. That should be checked.
Yeah, I don't know why it won't let me check it for some reason.
It could be because in the bottom left of that same window in system preferences, you should see a lock.
Oh, okay. I think I got it.
Yeah. And then just unlock that, check it, lock it back. And you should be good to go.
Okay, let me see now. Thank you. Okay, there we go. I think I got it. Safari. All right, here we go. Can y'all see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yep, we sure can.
All right.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Definitely can.
All right. Thank you. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's just hop into it, right? So this is the first thing that I do. I'm going to go over how I'm finding the underlying stock that I want to trade stock options for, right? So I know Chris has showed you guys a couple of tools on here that he uses, also a couple of the predefined scans that he uses to search for either bullish MACD crossovers or bearish MACD crossovers. So I'm just going to go over the ones that I use, the scans that I use. So when I'm looking for options trade to enter, the first thing that I'm going to look for is I'm going to look at the chart of the underlying stock that I want to buy these options contracts for, right? So whether they're going to be calls or puts, this is kind of where I start at, right? if you don't use stockcharts.com, I think like the more that you play with it, the easier that it will kind of come to you. There's a free version, which you can find the predefined scans on. And then there's some other scans that I'm going to show you guys that is kind of, I think it's only available on the paid version, but it's up to you. Either one, it'll help you out a lot. So the first thing that I do when I come to stockcharts.com, right, I'm logged in, but you don't have to be. I go to charts and tools. And then from charts and tools, I'm going to scroll down until I get to the reports and more, right? So underneath reports and more, they have a category called predefined scans, right? So if you click on this, the one that you guys are probably most familiar with is going to be the bullish MACD crossovers, right? So MACD has been like the leading indicator for me when it comes to finding stocks to trade as well as stock options to trade, right? So that's the first thing that I look for, because in my experience, that's been the earliest indicator when it comes to price movement. So I know there's other indicators that I learned and you may have learned also, like RSI, or even just looking at the support and resistance level. But in my experience, the MACD has been like a precursor to what's going to happen. So usually when I see the MACD like trending towards the downside or the upside, usually the price will follow in a couple of days or a week, or, you know, it'll follow in some time after the MACD has moved first, either up or down. So bullish MACD scan, right? That's my number one kind of go-to if I'm looking to buy calls, or if I'm looking for a stock that I would probably be able to buy calls for. So we're just going to click on that, and I sort by volume. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. All right. And so once I'm here, then I sort by volume, and I normally look for stocks that I'm kind of familiar with or that I've seen before traded when it comes to options, because I was going to talk about this a little bit later in the video, but we'll kind of get there right now. Let's just say if I clicked on Sherwin-Williams, right? So this stock, right, looking at the stock chart, we can see that it had a big gap up from yesterday until today, right? And that's what caused the MACD to trend more to the positive side and break that threshold from negative to positive, right? So that's what this scan is checking for. It's checking for the directional movement of the MACD from a negative side to a positive side. That's what it's checking for. So it saw that here it was on the negative side, and then it bounced over with that big jump in price that you see right here, and that triggered for this stock, Sherwin-Williams, to be on this bullish MACD scan. But the thing about when you're looking for stock options, right? I wouldn't go to buy stock options for Sherwin-Williams, right? Just because simply there needs to be, if I'm looking to buy a stock options, there also needs to be someone for me to sell it to, right? So if I probably go to my TD Ameritrade or Robinhood or wherever you used to trade, there's probably not a lot of people buying stock options for Sherwin-Williams, right? Compared to other stocks like Apple or NVIDIA or Tesla, these stocks that are have people buying stock options for them like every day almost, right? So, and I think that'll just come with time. You'll see like which stocks are, or which stock options are traded for options contracts more often than others. So I would just kind of skip over this one. I just kind of, like I said, like I kind of like try to look through this list. I sort it by volume, and then I kind of try to look through this list to find some stocks that I'm kind of familiar with when it comes to either I've traded the options before or I've seen it before when it comes to options. So there's a lot of them here. Let's see if I find one that I'm kind of familiar with. This is long. Excuse me. So just looking at this list, I don't even know if I would choose any of these for me to buy options with, right? And that's probably because right now the overall market is kind of on a downward trend, or most of the stocks that are heavily traded with options, the MACD is at a deeper level down with at the negative side, right? So it's most of the stocks that are traded. Everyone go ahead and mute your computers for me, please. So most of the stocks that are heavily traded with options, they're either, in the dumps right now, or they're at a higher RSI and we're trying to wait for them to start coming down. So I'm going to go back to my charts and tools, right? Another one that I would look at. So they're listed by the bullish technical indicators first, or the bullish scans first, and then the bearish ones would be beneath that. Sometimes I look at oversold with the improving RSI, right? If I was going to buy calls. Also, so let's just say, if I were to buy calls, let's just say, for example, for this one right here, right? This one may be a good one that I would buy calls for if, for example, right? Like I said, I kind of try to stick to stocks that I'm familiar with. I'm not really familiar with trading stock options for SAVA, but it could work. You know what I mean? The only thing that you need in order to start making money on your options contracts is for the contracts to increase in price, right? So you bought it for one price and someone later on down the line deemed that it was worth more than what you bought it for. That's the only thing that you need to happen in order for you to start making money, right? Also, on the final end, you'll need someone that is willing to buy it from you, right? So I think there's a lot of times you'll see people, they'll be in like stock options for a stock like this, right? And they're having a hard time selling that contract, right? So even though it increased in price, so let's just say if you bought it for $50 per contract, right? And then it moved to $75 per contract, but you're trying to sell it, but your order's not going through. That's because there's probably like the amount of people that are looking to buy these SAVA or Cassava Sciences contract options are slim compared to other stocks, right? So that's why I kind of try to stick to stocks that I'm familiar with, that I know that people are trading options for, right? But so if I was to look at this one, right, it's kind of had like a big gap down, almost like 50%, right? From around 40, and it dropped to, I think this is around like maybe $15. Let's see. So around like $18, right? So this is a big drop down, right? And then it kind of like bottomed out, and then it's starting to recover some, right? So in theory, you could buy calls at this point, right? When you see the reversal and it's starting to recover, and just wait it out, like maybe like a month out, buy some calls and just wait for the price to increase and see if those options contract prices will increase with the price of the underlying stock, which is SAVA. But like I said, you have to have, or you would like to have someone to buy those contracts off your hand once you start making money on them. And I don't know how many people are going to be buying SAVA options contracts, but I'll show you guys how the indicators that I look for, or what I kind of look for when I'm buying options contracts too, like what I'm looking for when it comes to volume or open interest or implied volatility. I'll show you guys like what the 3 things that I kind of look for when buying the contract. So let's go back. Here's the list again. Let's look at some bearish MACD crossovers. See, there's a lot more of these, right, than the bullish ones. The list was 151 because the market's kind of red right now. So bearish MACD crossovers. I'm going to sort by volume again. And let's go down this list. MO. So these are all of these ARC. MO, these are all these dividend payers, right? That were at a high and they were going and going and going and going for so long.
Which one's so good?
Can everyone mute their phone, please? Thank you. All right, McDonald's, right? So here we have McDonald's on the bearish MACD crossover list, right? So as I said before, for the bullish, on the opposing side, for the bullish MACD crossover, it's looking for that crossover from the MACD from the negative side to the positive side, right? That first tick is going to populate on that bullish MACD crossover list. On the opposite side, for the bearish MACD crossover, it's looking for that first tick of the MACD to the negative side, right? So like I said, it can be an early indicator of what price is going to be doing. That's why I love the MACD, because it kind of gives me an early edge on what's to come. And with options contracts, that's what you want to be, right? You want to be early and you want to be right on the direction that a price is going to go, right? Because you're going to get that options contract at the cheapest price, right? Before people start piling in and buying it, hopefully, and the price is going to increase, and then you can start to sell to make a profit, right? So looking at McDonald's, right, we can see that the MACD is trending towards the downside, right? Price should follow. Hopefully, price will follow on the trend to the downside also. If I was analyzing this to buy some stock options, what I would do is, the first thing I would do is plot my support and resistance levels, right? If you don't know how to plot support and resistance levels, we have quite a few videos in the Wealth Squad University that kind of like walk you step by step, that Ray and Kayla did. And I think it's very, very important that you know how to plot support and resistance levels when you're trading stock options, right? Because that's going to tell you if you're buying puts, right? That's going to tell you where the price may stop falling at before it may reverse. If you're buying calls, it may tell you where the price may stop increasing at before it begins to come back down. So if I was looking at McDonald's and I was analyzing this chart, I would plot my support and resistance levels. I use the horizontal line. I would say there is one around here. I would say here around, what is this? $237.5-ish, 220. And I'm sure if I extend the time out some on this chart, there'll be more in the meantime. So the current price of McDonald's stock is 248, right? I see that there's a support level around, let's just say, I guess I'll say 245. All right, so let's just say there's a support level around 245, right? So I can see that here, The price was around 255. It looked like it was increasing here at the beginning of last November, and then it got to around 255, and then it began to drop a little bit to around 245 before it began increasing again towards the upside. So right now the price is 248. It could do the same thing, right? It could have gotten around 255 here. It could come down to around 245, right? Because we already know, according to the past, that's a support level, right? Here it dropped, it got to around 245, and then it went back up to the upside. Price could, everyone mute your phone. Y'all killing me today. Mute your phones. We got to get through this, right? All right, so as I was saying, price could come down to around 245, and then it could bounce as it did right here. And as
Can I order something that's in transit?
Hey,
Yeah.
everyone mute your phones, please.
Crystal, this is Ray. Click on participants and then
Okay.
click mute. And then basically make it so that nobody can unmute themselves.
Okay. Participant.
Yeah. Click mute, and then it'll be like a little panel that pops up to where you can make it so participants can't unmute themselves.
Okay, 1 second.
Thank you.
I think the roof leaks.
It's at the bottom somewhere.
Yeah, put your thing on mute.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, Ray, so much. Okay. Let me go back to the chat real quick. All right, I'm sorry about that, y'all. All right, can y'all still hear me now? Yes, okay, perfect. Let me just keep going now. Y'all tripping. All right, so as I said before, right, it'll most likely, if price has a history, right, of coming down to around 245 and bouncing, then it could possibly do the same thing, right? So I would plot my support level there, right, around 245. So looking at my MACD, I can see that, as I said, like this is usually I use it as an early indicator for what price is going to do. And I see that the MACD is finally starting to trend towards the downside or the negative side here. Price should follow. So I would be expecting for McDonald's to come down as the underlying stock, right? I would be expecting for McDonald's to come down some in price, right? In the future. So if I wanted to, I can look for some, look to purchase some put options contracts for McDonald's, right? Looking at this chart, I would probably, if I was looking for weeklies, right, expiring this Friday or next Friday, I would probably look for a strike around 245, right? Depending on other variables. Also, when I start to look at the different strikes and different price contract prices, right? So we're going to go back. That was the bearish MACD scan, right? And you can see that there's so many other stocks on this list, right? It's kind of like setting you up when you're doing like research for stocks that you want to buy options contracts for. So I use that one. I use the bullish one sometimes. And then sometimes I'll even use, what other ones do I use on here? All right, I'll show you guys the scans that I use. So those are the main three that I used, right? So I used the bullish MACD crossovers, the bearish MACD crossovers, and the oversold with improving RSI, right? When I'm not using those three, I'm just going to go back to stock charts, click on that. So it'll bring me back to the home screen, right? I use this scans tool, right? And as I was saying at the beginning of the class, I don't think that this tool is available if you don't have a paid account with stock charts. So I use the scans tool and then I'll go to new scan, right? So with this tool, you can tell stock charts to basically search for any values that you're looking for, and then the any indicators, and then the values that fall within those indicators that you're looking for. So what I do is I keep the type as stock, and then I just go within these brackets and I delete everything that's within the second set of brackets, and then I just type RSI. Right, so it's going to populate RSI is greater than 70, right? If I just were to keep the scan as it is, it would search for any type of stock with the RSI more than 70, right? But what I like to, so if I were looking for puts, right, then I could leave it just like this, and I can come down here and then I can click run scan. I always sort by value. And this is going to give me a list of stocks that have an RSI that is above 70, right? So if you kind of follow the trading, the money flow trading strategy, you know that, or basically any trading strategy, you know that a RSI of 70 above is kind of a hot RSI, right? And the price will most likely begin to cool down or come down some in the near future. So let me go click on another one. So this would be good in helping me find stocks to look for if I'm planning to buy some put contracts. Let's see if there's anything worthwhile on this list. Mostly everything has begun to cool down or is already kind of in the dumps at this point. All right, so I don't really see anything on here that I would look to buy options contracts for. So I'm going to go back to my scan workbench. I'm going to change the RSI is greater than 70 to RSI is less than, and I'm going to look for stocks with the RSI below 40, right? So now I'm going to be looking for calls. So I'm looking for usually when stocks, right, when they get to a point where they want to reverse, right, they'll go to a low RSI around 30. Like if the price is dropping and it's going to start reversing to the upside, it may come down to RSI that is around 30, but some stocks won't come that low. That's why I don't put the threshold at around 30. I just put it at 40, or sometimes I even put it at 45, right? Let's put it at 45. So now I'm looking for stocks that I could possibly buy some calls for, right? So I'm going to run this scan. I may have to close this back out. Run the scan. I'm going to sort by volume again. And let's see, Apple, AMD, Bank of America. Let's see what Bank of America is doing. All right, so just looking at the Bank of America chart, it says that the RSI is around 29.29, right? So anything around or below 30 for RSI is going to be kind of in oversold territory, right? So people have kind of like sold off the stock to a point where it's kind of not making sense anymore, right? It's still of some value. That's if I was going to be buying this stock, Bank of America, then this may be a time that I would be looking to buy this stock. First thing that I'm going to do if I was looking to buy stock options is I would want to plot my support and resistance levels. Let's see, I'm going to go to add some time to this chart to see. All right, so you see how I add time to my chart and there's more, it makes it easier for me to plot my support and resistance levels in relation to what happened in the past, right? At first, I was only seeing from November forward, right? I was only seeing from this point forward on the chart, right? So I couldn't see where it dipped right here, and I couldn't see where it was around the same level that it is around now in the middle of like last June, right? June 2021. So sometimes you just need to extend your time out so that it'll help you plot your support and resistance levels better. So I would first plot the nearest support level, which will probably be around, I would say $36. All right, so support is around $36. So it looked like support, the price kind of like, I'll have to look at it on an intraday chart to see what price was doing today, right? But just looking at the overall stock, Bank of America, right? And seeing if I think that this will be a good stock for me to buy some stock options for, right? And my next resistance level would be I'll say around here at 38. Another one at around 40, 41. Okay, well, let me go back to the chat. All right, so in the chat, when you said you're looking for the nearest support level, are you saying closer to the current price or just left to right? So when I say I'm looking for the closest resistance support level, I'm saying the closest support level to this price, right? So when I'm looking for a support level, I'm looking for the closest level below the current price, right? Which is $36.45. That's the current price. I'm looking for the closest level at which price stopped falling before it began its reversal to the upside. So I can see that in the past here at around the middle of July, price was falling and then it got to around this level, right? Which is around the current level, around $36.45. And then it didn't fall beneath that level. So I'm looking for the closest support level in comparison to what the current price is. Yeah, so this is the daily time frame. What do you set the overlays to on stock charts? I just at my RSI, my MACD, I use the 20-day moving average, and the 200-day moving average. If I'm looking at a shorter period of time, right, then I'll add the 5-day moving average. But I kind of don't use stock charts to look at shorter periods of times anymore. I kind of just use Thinkorswim, the TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform to look for intraday price movement when it comes to options. So really just the 20-day moving average, the 200-day moving average, and then I have my RSI here and then my MACD. It's my first play, Wendy's. Okay, we'll get to Wendy's in a second. Let me write that down. All right, so boom. Let me not get sidetracked because this will take a long time. So I want to plot my support and resistance levels, right? Why? Someone in the chat, let me know why do you think it's important for one of the first things for me to do is to plot my support and resistance levels? Price has memory, correct, right? Entry and exits. Yes, very correct, right? So price has memory, right? So as I was saying before, let's just say if we were to buy, if I thought that Bank of America's price was going to be bouncing off of this support level around $36, right? I know that there would be some resistance here, maybe around $38. And also then if price can get above that, then there'll be some resistance here around $40, right? So let's just say if I bought a call, right, here at this level, and the price started to increase, right? And now it's no longer $36.45, but the price of this stock is around $38.50 right here, right? Then my contract price is most likely increasing also with the price of the underlying stock. And I'm thinking like, man, like I'm making money. When should I get out? Like the money's coming, the contract prices are increasing. Me personally, if I get to around any of these resistance levels around $38, right? Or $40, then if price starts to like struggle with getting above these levels, then I may think about taking profit on my options contracts, right? Because I don't want the price to start even thinking or having trouble increasing on my contract prices, because then that could cause me to start losing money on the money that I've already made. Can you set alerts on here? You mean like for price movement? Like if price is above this, I know you can set alerts, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, if you can set alerts for price movement. Someone says, yes, you can. So I guess you just gotta play with it some. All right, so what time frame do you use when watching options you are in? All right, so if I'm watching options that I'm in, right? I want to skip around, right? Because if I skip around, I'm gonna kind of be all over the place. But I'm gonna show you guys what time frame that I'm watching, right? So let's just say I want to buy some calls for Bank of America. The next thing that I would do is I would come over to, I'm gonna minimize the chat. I would come over to Thinkorswim, right? And I would type Bank of America, and on Thinkorswim, I'm looking at the intraday chart. I'm looking at the 15-day time frame. So 1 day, 15 minute time frame. I'm sorry, not 15-day. 15-minute time frame on Thinkorswim. That is what I look for when I'm looking to get my entries, right, for these stock options. We don't have money to buy. All right. Oh, wow. Wait, so can you guys not see my Thinkorswim right now? No. Okay, let me fix that. 1 second. You share. All right. Are we good now? Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. So here's Thinkorswim, right? So if I'm looking to buy some Bank of America calls, right, according to this chart right here that we were looking at before, it may be a good idea for us to hop into some Bank of America calls. I would, let's see what price was doing throughout the day, right? So this is the 15-minute intraday chart, right, on Thinkorswim for Bank of America. So the blacked out portion is going to be the hours throughout the trading day, and this is going to be after hours, the grayed out portion, right? So this past day, right, the trading day, we can see that Bank of America, it opened up and then it began to kind of increase a little bit, and it got all the way up to around $37.54. And then I think the market as a whole kind of like took a turn and it started to trickle down and up a little bit and then down. And then in the after hours, it's just kind of been trading sideways, really, right? So looking at this.
Hey, excuse me?
Yeah, Crystal, can you hear me?
Your account number is being shown.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, get that
Thank
up on
you.
there. Yeah.
There's nothing but $4 in there, but thank you.
Yeah, we were kind of worried for a second.
Okay, thank you. Can I fix this? Private mode. All right, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me see. Let me fix this real quick, and I can come back. Yeah, I don't trade in this account. So I have two TD Ameritrade accounts, and this one I don't trade. So I figure I would use this one. But let me see if I can fix this real quick.
Crystal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
If you're in your TD account, under account info, it should say net liquid and day trades. If you click that, another window will pop up and you'll see privacy. If you click that button, it'll hide your account.
Okay, one second. Thank you so much. Account info, net liquid and day trades, privacy.
And it'll turn into all stars.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was so helpful. Thank you. All right, we back. Okay, hold on. Let me get back to business. All right, are we back now? All right, so we're back. Let me go. All right, so can you guys see the screen now? Let's go. Yes, $4. All right. Yeah, it ain't no money in there. I had a Roku position in there, and that thing wasn't doing so well, and I sold it, and that was it for that. So, all right, back to the chart. All right, so if I'm looking to get in calls for Bank of America, right, I'm looking at my 15-minute intraday chart. What I would be looking for is, let's just say, the price is currently $36.48. So I may be just looking at this chart, I would probably look to buy some stock options with a strike price that is around maybe this level, right? just looking at the chart, I saw that the price kind of started to rise on today's Tuesday, so yesterday. And then it got to around this level and then market closed, and then it kind of started to bottom out and then trend downward. So I would probably buy like around maybe 37.5, even like here, like 37.5 strike price. So let's just say if I go to my, let me see. Hold on. One second. All right. All right, so told y'all $4.85, baby. There's nothing in here. But so let's just say, right, I go to my TD Ameritrade, right? And then I look at Bank of America and I'm looking to buy some calls that expire this Friday, which is the 29th of April. Let's just say if I was looking for 37.5 strike calls, right? All right, so what I'm going to be looking at here, I'm going to be looking at the implied volatility, right? The open interest, and then I'm going to be looking at the volume also, right? So when it comes to open interest, I try to, I think like my happy number is around probably like 1,700 to like 2,500, 17 to 2,500, right? So open interest is just going to be the number of contracts that are out there that have not been closed, or they haven't expired, or they haven't been exercised, right? So that's just showing you like how it's basically helping you gauge the interest of these contracts, these Bank of America 37.5 calls expiring on April 29th. Someone's raising their hands. Okay. Someone had a question. Kanasia, maybe I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But if you raised your hand and you had a question, just type it in the chat and I'll answer it. I'll answer it really quick. Oh, sorry. Kinesia. All right. Can you explain how time decay works? Okay, 1 second. All right, so I'll be looking at the open interest, right, and the implied volatility. When it comes to implied volatility, the lower the better, right? So if you find like, if you can find like options contracts like this with a good amount of volume, and volume is just the amount of contracts that have been either like bought or sold, right? That have been traded completely. They're not open, they've been bought or sold, right? If you can find contracts with a good amount of open interest and volume, but the IV or the implied volatility is low, that's like sweet, right? That's letting you know that people are interested in these contracts. They may be thinking that price is going to move in the same direction that you're thinking it's going to move in, but as kind of like a grand scheme of like on the market, it hasn't been implied kind of like market wide that the price is going to be moving up or down as you think it is, right? So as I said, the earlier that you are when it comes to buying these options contracts, the earlier that you are, the better, right? If you're late to the table, the implied volatility is going to be high, around like 60, 70. It can be over 100, 130, whatever, you know, like it can be very high. That just means that the premium or the price for this contract has already increased to account for the crazy move up or down that's about to happen. Would you say really high IV is like lotto contract type? So someone said, like, what are the perks of 3,000% IV, if any? So I think that sometimes I'll buy contracts that have really high volatility if I expect for it to be like a crazy move, right? Sometimes like the IV, 300% volatility, or I kind of stay away from that. Like on my scale of time, like I would say if the IV is around like 75 or something like that, or 80, and that's my risk tolerance. Like I feel like, man, okay, I bought this contract. It has like the implied volatility is high, but over 100%, I kind of like stay away completely. Facebook puts right now they're at 200%, right? I would completely stay away from those because the movement in price is already priced in, right? So do not forget that when you're buying these options contracts, someone has to sell them to you. Anything in the market has a buyer and a seller, right? So you can't buy something unless there's not a seller to sell it to you. So the person that's selling you these options contracts, they're hoping that they're right on what's going to happen, and they're hoping that they're right on the direction of the price, right? So if I bought some Bank of America calls right now, there's someone that's going to sell those to me, and they're hoping that I'm incorrect in my thoughts of Bank of America going up in price, right? So they're hoping instead of it going up, it's going to go down in price. That way they'll start making money and I'll start losing money. So those contract makers, when the IV is high like that, they're already pricing the amount of money that they could possibly lose into the price before they sell you that contract. That's all that it means. Like the opportunity for you to start making money, it just got a little bit more slim because, you know, if I know that something is most likely going to go to $100, right? And last week it was being sold for $50, I might go ahead and sell it to you for $70 to minimize the amount of money that I could possibly lose. Because you're not about to make $50 off of me. You may be able to make 30 from 70 to 100, but I'm going to go ahead and bump that price up so that I'm selling you this contract. You know, the likelihood of me losing money just got a little bit more slim. All right, so I also look at the open interest, as I said, I look for around like 1,700 to 2,500, like as a minimum for my open interest. And I also look at volume. Theta, all of the Greeks, I feel like those are a given, right? If you want a thorough, like in-depth understanding of the different Greeks to look for, the delta, the theta, all of that, then as I said, we have a bunch of classes in the Wealth Squad, and you can go and you can, you know, go over those in depth. But these are the main ones that I look for initially, right? I look at my open interest, I look at my implied volatility, and then I look at my volume, right? Because when I'm looking to get into a contract initially, I'm looking at the interest, right? So are people interested in these contracts just as I am? Let's just change the strike to $36 so we can see how. So we changed our strike price to $36, and do you see how the open interest changed some? So the amount of contracts that are open for this strike price, it kind of changed. The volume kind of changed, right? The amount of contracts that have been bought or sold, it kind of changed. So that just lets me know that people within the stock market are less interested in these Bank of America contracts with this expiration and this strike price than they were at the 37.5 strike price, right? What is a lower ideal IV to me? I would say, what is this one? Let's see. 41, like this is very doable to me. Like I think like low or ideal, like kind of perfect is probably around like 24, 25. Like when I see my implied volatility around 24, 25, like 20s, early 20s, then, you know, I'm happy about it. But usually when I see options contracts with the implied volatility around like early 20, like the 24, 25 level, it's kind of like I'm like very early to these contracts before price starts to move. The minimum volume that I'm looking for, I think it depends on, I'll have to say that it depends on the underlying stock, because there's some stocks like SPY or QQQ, you know, that people trade every day. So the volume of a specific contract could be like normal on a normal day around like $30,000 to $60,000 here. I mean, it's 30 to 60,000, not dollars, 30 to 60,000 on the volume scale, right? And same thing for open interest. Like the open interest could be 30,000. So it really just depends on the stock. So if you know you're early, you would choose a longer expiration date. Not always. So I don't always choose a further expiration date. What you could, so if you're early, let's go back to the Bank of America chart. All right, so someone said, so if you know that you're early, would I choose a longer expiration date? Sometimes, right? So sometimes, let's just say, maybe in this instance, right, you could buy some Bank of America calls with the expiration date a month or a month and a half, 2 months out, and just wait for the price to rise, right? To rise to either a resistance level where it kind of like see some resistance and then it comes back down. I would say the most I would probably buy for these Bank of America calls would probably be around Friday or next Friday. And I'll tell you why. If the price increased a little bit more, right? If I saw a clear reversal here, then I may buy a further expiration date. If I saw a clear reversal, because a lot of times what will happen is when you see a stock like this where there's not a real clear reversal, it'll come up a little bit and then it'll come down, which this stock is kind of doing. Then it'll come up a little bit and then it'll come down.
You can't see the chart.
All right, can you guys see this one? All right, so it'll come up and then it'll come back down. See how Bank of America, it came down and it came down to around 35.
We still can't see it.
Oh. All right, can you guys see it now? Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So price will come down and then it'll come up, right? And then it'll trade sideways a little bit and then it'll come back down. And it may like continue that up and down pattern until it breaks out above a certain level and it has enough strength and momentum to keep going. So if it was at the point where I saw that it had enough strength and momentum to keep going, then I may buy some further out option contracts with the further out expiration date. All right, let me see. When it comes to entries, that's what I want to talk about. Because I think like the entries are so important. Let me get a drink of water. All right, so I just want to do a quick recap. So up until this point, and I'm going to get in the chat. So if you guys have questions, I'm going to come in the chat. So up until this point, I showed you guys what I do, what type of scans I use to search initially for the stocks that I would buy stock options for, right? So going to Chart and Tools on stockcharts.com, Let me make sure I'm sharing this. So going to, can you guys see this, the stockcharts.com screen? Yes, okay, so going to charts and tools on stockcharts.com, right? Scroll all the way down to my predefined scans. And I usually use the bullish MACD crossovers, the oversold with improving RSI, and the bearish MACD crossovers, right? So those are the three that I used here for the predefined scans. Also, if I go back to stockcharts.com, sometimes I create my own scan here, right? And when I create my own scan, I'm looking for the indicator RSI. So I type RSI, enter, and if I'm looking to buy puts, I might leave it as RSI is greater than 70, and I'm looking for those stocks with the overbought RSI, right? So that I can buy some puts, hoping that the price is going down. If I'm looking for calls, then I may change my my greater than sign to less than. To RSI is less than, and we'll just keep it at 45, right? So then we're looking for our oversold RSIs, or RSIs that are around 30, right? For us to buy calls. Once I do that, I'll run the scan. This will populate, I'll sort by volume, and then let's just say if I click on this one, right? The first thing that I will do when I get to my chart is plot my support and resistance levels. I was looking at this one earlier today, right? So I would plot my support and resistance levels, right? I can see that there's a support level here. Price was falling and then it stopped around this level, around 65, before it began to reverse again. From there, I would go over to my Thinkorswim. Do you use Active Trader? No, I don't use Active Trader. Someone says Finviz has a free stock screener also. These are all the tools that I use every single day when I'm looking for all right, can you guys see my Thinkorswim? Yes, okay, so from there, right, if I feel like I want to buy some stock options for a certain underlying stock, then I'll come over to my Thinkorswim. I'm looking at this intraday 15-minute chart, and from here, I'm looking for entry and exit points for the stock that I want to buy. Also, before I even get to this point, I may go to my whatever trading platform that I'm using. So TD Ameritrade, or sometimes I've been using Robinhood lately. I'll come here and then I'll look at the values here. As I said before, I look at my open interest, I look at my implied volatility, and I look at my volume, just for me to decide which strike price looks more appealing to me when it comes to which one do I think will start making money sooner than others, right? So you mainly just stay on the 15-minute chart. Yes. Yep, I mainly just throughout the trading day, I mainly just stay on the 15-minute chart. Chris uses Webull. All right, so now that I know like which stock that I'm going to be buying options for, which strike price I'm going to be buying these contracts for, then I'll go back to my Thinkorswim, right? And I'm looking for an entry, right? So let's just say if we were going to be buying some calls for Bank of America. What I would be looking for is, this is a good example right here, right? So let's just say if the day open, right, the trading day open, and I'm looking to be buying calls, right? So this is the beginning of the market on Monday, right? Usually, especially if it's a stock that is usually having stock options to be bought and sold or traded for that stock, right? Usually people are taking profits in the first 15 minutes of the stock market, whether it's from the previous Friday going into Monday or every day in between, right? There's people that are going to be taking profits that are going to be selling at the beginning of the market to take those profits, and it usually causes a dip in price, right? So if I'm looking to buy calls, I'm looking to buy most of the time on that dip in price, especially if I can look at this chart right here, and I know that price will most likely, oh, this is not Bank of America, but if I look at this chart and I know that price is kind of primed to go up, right? I'm going to try to get in on this dip. So if I think the price is going to go up, I'm going to be watching the price drop, and I'm going to be looking to see where it's going to slow down and where it's going to kind of have some resistance dropping, right? It'll kind of like slow down. So this may be kind of like a free fall, and then price may kind of like slow down here and start teetering around this point right here. This is around 36.19. And then right where it begins to reverse, that's where I want to try to get into a call, right? It doesn't work perfectly every time. So let's just say if I were to buy right here, right? And then the price, it came all the way up to right here. Here, the market kind of like took a turn and it began to reverse. And then this became the low of the day. But usually, if price is primed to increase, usually this will be the low of the day, this point right here. So even if I got in right here and price began to drop and it came down to 35.93, I would be okay with that. If it came down to here and I bought right here and it began to increase again throughout the trading day. So on the opposite end, if I was looking to buy puts and I'm banking on the price decreasing throughout the day, I'm going to wait until price begins to increase throughout the trading day, because no matter if price is going up or down, it's going to have points where price, no matter if price overall is going down throughout the trading day or up throughout the trading day, there's going to be points in time where price is going to go fluctuate up and down, right? As you can see on this chart. So if I was looking to buy puts, I would be watching for the high of the day, right? Or a higher point of the day than what the market opened at. So let's just say if the market opened here, right? And immediately price began to go up. But in my mind, I know that price will most likely be going down, right? I'm gonna be looking for the highest point, and here, when it got to around here, this is where I would try to get entries for my put options contracts, right? So that when price does begin to come down, I'll immediately begin to make money. So I think that the major difference between like this, the way that I'm looking for my entries and the way that the providers that use the strat is that they're looking for a specific, values, right? To show that, hey, like you can get in when price hits this value. I'm not really sure. As I said before, like I've never traded with the strat, but it seems like they're looking for specific values. And with my method, I'm watching the market. I'm literally sitting watching this price movement, right? So it's a lot more time consuming, but I'm watching the prices is going up and it's going up, and I'm watching here to see like where it's struggling to go up more. And as soon as I see that it begins to struggle to keep going up, I'm looking to buy my puts here. But this is something I guess you'll need time to sit and watch price movement. How do you gauge if it's a true reversal though? I mean, like I said, it could, like right here, right? I thought it was a true reversal right here, right? And I thought this would be the low of the day. I don't think there's a way for you to truly say that this is a true reversal and price can't go any lower than this, because Here it went lower than that. There's no way for me to know for sure that price will begin to go up or down. And that will be the only direction that it will go after that point. You know, it's a stock market. So please go over the video chart for the weekly calls. Okay, so does anyone have any questions up to this point? What is your volume criteria? Should it be higher than 1 million? So I would say higher than 1 million, right? But I also will say that you should look at the average volume for that stock also. But 1 million is a good point for overall volume of the underlying stock. Yep, I only watched the 15-minute chart on the intraday level when I'm looking for options. When I'm looking at stock charts, I'm looking at the chart on a daily time frame, but I only watched the 15-minute chart here. Yes, everything's going to be recorded. Yep, on the daily chart, I use the 20-day moving average, the 200-day moving average, my RSI, my MACD. On the intraday chart, which is here on Thinkorswim, I just used the 15-minute intraday chart. How do you avoid fake outs? I think using this method, there's a lot of times, right, where there's a lot of times like I'll be in the wealth squad and I'll call something out, right? And according to like other trading strategies, I'll be like super early, right? So let's just say if I told you guys to buy here and we were buying calls, right? And I thought this was the low of the day. And I think I would have a better idea if I kind of learned the strat. So I think like that would be a good idea for me to learn it. But I noticed like sometimes people will be saying like, oh, I don't like the strat is not telling me to buy or to enter into these calls or these puts. When I'll like see what I see and then I'll call it. But I think like trying to like avoid fake outs, I don't know, man. I just see like what I see on the chart. I look at the price movement. And if I see that price has fell, if the market opened here and then price fell like here, right? I know that it's most likely going to rebound some, even if it continues to fall a little bit, it's less likely that it's gonna fall within the 1 15-minute candle from here to here, and then the next one, it will continue to fall, especially if the price is primed to increase on the daily chart. The strat uses multiple time frames. When you call play, it always starts green and continues red. Doesn't really take a dive. Is there a reason? Are you just a wizard? No, it's not. The reason that you may think that it starts green and then it continues green is because, like I said, I'm buying at the extremes, right? So when I'm looking at this chart, I'm looking to buy at extremes. So if I'm buying puts, I'm looking to buy at the extreme high of the day, right? If I'm buying calls, I'm looking to buy at the lowest point of the day compared to whatever time it is in the market. Another thing that Chris uses, I don't really use it as often, is the RSI indicator here, right? So he uses the RSI indicator to kind of signal hot and cold times. So here you can see that the RSI, it kind of dropped and then it went below 30. That's kind of gonna like signal an oversold indication here. So that's a good tool, like to use it as you're using like RSI for any other time frame. But I'm just watching the price movement. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching the price movement and I'm looking for the lowest point. if I'm buying calls, and I'm looking for the highest point on the day if I'm buying puts. How often do you scan hourly, pre-market, and aftermarket? What do you mean scan? Like how often am I looking for new trades to get in? Is that what you mean? I assume you just buy the ask price of the option. Yeah, so when I'm doing this, this strategy, I'll look at, I usually just buy, I'll buy, usually the bid and ask the spread is not too far. I try to stay away from contracts also that have like a far bid and ask spread, because in my experience, it makes it hard for me to sell the contract at a comfortable price. And usually I kind of usually just stay away from those. Wait before jumping in a call, put at market open. So someone said, how long do I wait before I jump into a call or put at market open? It really just depends, to be honest. So like I said, it all depends on the underlying, it all depends on this chart right here. Can you guys see my stock chart? Yes, so it all depends on the stock chart, right? So let's just say if I was buying calls for Bank of America, right? According to this chart, I'm thinking that the price will probably definitely begin to increase to the upside. Well, I haven't plotted my support and resistance levels, but let's just say if I was looking at AA, I was looking at this one earlier today. All right, so looking at this, I can see that price, it began to drop, right? And it hit a support level around $65, and then it began to bounce off of this, right? So if I was buying calls for AA, right, in the morning, if the market opened and it did this right here, where I told you people do this thing where they begin to take profits, right? If the market opened and price begins to drop, people begin to take profits, and I saw that it began to bottom out in reverse right here, I would be comfortable buying calls right here for this stock. I would be comfortable buying stock options here. So it just all depends. It depends what's going on with the underlying stock. How long do you hold your contracts? Like the lady who made 100K, she sold them same day. I honestly, this is what I'll say, right? I think like it all depends on your risk tolerance, right? And this is going to be different for me as it will be for each and every person on this live, right? I think that how long you hold your contract depends on you and your risk tolerance, right? So let's just say if I buy $5,000 worth of AA calls, right? And the contracts decrease 25%, right? In the first 2 hours of the trading day after I purchased them, they're down 25%. Even if those contracts went 100%, right, and they were down the entire $5,000, that would be such a small amount of money, right, compared to the amount of money that I could risk on these AA calls, right? But if I rewind back, a couple of years ago, when I didn't have as much money to risk, then I'm telling you guys, I would literally take, when my account hit 30%, I would take profits. And every day I felt so good about myself, like taking profits, 30% profit, 30% profit every day. I felt like so, good about myself. That's why I don't understand, like, sometimes like people in the Wealth Squad, they're bummed out about taking 25, 30%, even like 50% profit. They just feel like that's just not enough. But that's how I begin like to build my account. I was taking 30% profits daily almost. 50%, 20 seconds, I'm scaling out. Right. And you don't have to sell the entirety of your contracts. You can scale out, like you can have, I would have like 30% was like my number, right? Where if my contracts hit 30% profit, I would sell the majority of my contracts, like 80% of my contracts, I would sell them. And then I would leave the other 20% to continue to increase, you know, if that was what was going to happen. What if you were buying like one contract? Then if you're buying one contract, I would say that you sell that contract when you feel that you're comfortable with selling it in relation to your risk tolerance, and only you are going to know like what you can risk and what you shouldn't be risking. A bird in your hand is better than 1,000 in the tree. That's so true. So take profits because of his advice. That's very true. I struggle to watch the Wealth Squad at work sometimes. You got to make some time, man. When I first started trading, I was going to take a job in Maryland, and they were paying me like, I'm not to say like F that job or anything like that, but I'll just tell you, they were going to pay me around, I think it was like $160,000 a year, right? I was a intelligence analyst, right? So they were going to pay me like $160 per year, right? To go work at NSA, but I couldn't have my phone. I couldn't have anything. Like I can't have my computer. I can't even bring my phone in the building. So I'm like, man, they're bringing me in. Like I had to do all these like polygraphs and stuff. So I'm just kind of like, I'm happy that I'm not at work because I'm able to still trade as they're like, you know, baiting me through the hiring process. But then as the date for me to like start trading is getting closer and closer, I'm getting nervous because I feel like I'm gonna be losing money. Man, let me tell you. So I ended up, then COVID hit. So it was like a 3 to 4 month period where I was just like in limbo. And so from the time where I had like started trading until the time where they finally was like, all right, we're ready for you to come to work, I had made over $160,000 that they were gonna pay me. So I'm like, I'm not coming to that job. Like, it's gonna be killing me. You know what I mean? Because I can't just imagine if I would have went to, you know, work at this job, but it's just kind of something you have to think of, you know. So even if you start a side hustle, or if you start doing something else until you get to the point where you can say, all right, I'm able to dedicate my time now to becoming a better trader or to watching the market, because I just showed you guys my strategy and what I'm doing when I'm looking for trades, and it's time consuming. I'm not gonna lie. I'm watching the market. I'm watching the price. I'm watching each and every one of these 15-minute bars, right? I'm watching to see if price is going up and down, because I'm trying to find the best entry for the trading day that I can. But just imagine if I'm at work, and then just imagine if I'm at work and I can't have my phone, or I'm not supposed to be on my phone, or I can't even bring my phone in the building, then that's going to put a major, you know, damper in all of this. Someone said they put their 30 days in to become a full-time trader. YOLO. Okay. How do you set entry points in trading while working? It's tough, to be honest, because even if someone tells you, hey, I'm buying this right now at this price, it's still going to be your responsibility to make sure that you're getting the best entry that you can, you know, for yourself, because I can only buy something and then alert to you that I'm buying this. It's up to you to get the best entry. Leaps, someone said leaps, or maybe like if you're buying contracts with a further expiration date, that's what they mean by leaps. Or even if like you're buying a contract with the month out, then that kind of gives you a lot more room for error when it comes to the specific like entry. Yep. So everyone will be able to play this class back. Let me think. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything. That's basically it. Like my strategy, I feel like it's so simple. It just requires, and I think because like it requires you to be so like hands-on, like watching how price is moving throughout the day, it helps me to build like a memory bank of like how price is moving, and especially when I'm watching a stock that I was watching last week, or watching stock that I've been watching for 3 days out of the week. You know what I mean? Like it helps me to build a memory bank, and it helps me to kind of like remember like how price moved in relation to other days throughout the trading week. Do you review the news? No, I don't really wake up and review the news. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I guarantee you, if I go to my Google searches, the first thing that you guys can see, I don't know if you can see this. Can you guys see my screen, my phone? Maybe not. Let me go back here. All right, you can see me now. So if you go, you probably can't see my screen. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But if I just go to Google, the first thing that you're going to see is stock futures. So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm looking for is the stock futures, right? I want to see where the futures are, right? And I usually watch it throughout the pre-market to see if it drops or if it increases right before the market even opens. I also look at the pre-market runners, right? So I want to see which stocks are doing really well in the pre-market and which one stocks are doing really, really bad in the pre-market, right? Because usually a stock will either like continue the path if it's been falling, or it'll continue path on its way up if it's increasing in the pre-market. Also, I go to, let me see, marketwatch.com, right? And I look for stocks that have, I'll show you. I look for stocks that have a lot of volume, right? So I look at which stocks have the most volume, or which stocks are most active in comparison to how much volume they have, right? So I look at the laggards, I look at the leaders, and then which ones have the most volume in the pre-market. Then from there, I go through and I do the same process that I kind of walked you guys through with the searching to look for everything. I try to do this at least 2 hours before market opens, and also the night before. Do you study candlesticks as well? Not really, to be honest. What I showed you guys, that's my strategy. Like, I don't know, to me it seems really simple, but I don't really do too much outside of that. How long did you? So when someone says, when you were building your portfolio, how long out did you select your expiration date? I was buying weekly options, to be honest. I started to buy further out expiration dates when I begin to, in my experience, when I begin to hedge my portfolio, when I begin to use put options to, hedge my portfolio, then I begin to buy further out expiration dates. Yeah, that AA might be a play. I'm telling you, don't sleep. Yep, that's the 20 and the 200 simple moving average. And if I add the 5 on there, then I use the 5 EMA. Feels like Gerald Peters style of charting for options. I think, yeah, it probably does. It just, I feel like when it comes to the market, everything is kind of the same on a, like on a more intricate scale. So when I look at when I'm just trading regular stocks, I feel like my strategy is not that different than when I'm trading options. How many companies on your watch list each day? Not many. So that's a good question. So I will say, like, when I create a list of companies that I'm looking to watch, I would say a maximum like 4, because it's kind of hard for me. I just showed you guys like how detailed it is when you're looking for entries and stuff like that, right? If I had 10 companies that I'm trying to watch, it would kind of be impossible. Or it would just be tedious. So I would say like 4, and then I probably only end up like watching 2 or 3 of them. What is the number for implied volume? Implied volatility? Is that what you mean? Price movement when you were choosing. Someone says, what did you use to determine the speed of price movement when you were choosing weekly contracts? What did I use to determine the speed of price movement? I don't know what you mean by that, the speed of price movement. For my implied volatility, I usually try to stay away from contracts, the implied volatility above, I would say above like 60. All right, so how long have I been trading? So I started trading in just trading stocks when I learned Gerald's strategy. That was in 2019. I think it was in like June of 2019. And then from there, I just started building on, and then I began trading options, and then I just went so forth and so on. How much money did you start with? So when I started trading stocks, I started with around, I think it was around like $25,000, right? I just had money that I saved up, and then I started with that, but I can't remember like exactly how much money I started with when I was for stock options. I started small though. I would buy like one contract, and then I started with multiple contracts, and then I started to buy like other companies in which the contracts cost more money, like Amazon or Google. And then I just went from there. Oh, so for Gerald Peters, I bought all of his, well, he's probably got other ones that he's added, but I started with his book. Is called You Don't Have to Die Broke, right? And then I also bought the Money Flow Trading Strategy. I think that's what it's called. And that gave me a good understanding of how to read a stock chart, the fundamentals of trading. And if you like, you need to know that, like me starting with that and getting that fundamental layer down, it gave me a foundation to build on. How do I determine the 4 I'm going to watch? Whichever stock chart looks like it has the best probability to either go up or down in price. I'm still in those NVIDIA calls. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with NVIDIA. Do I go full port? No, I don't. Never. I did at one point when I was I think like that's like I said, like it depends on like what you're going to risk, right? So my full port may be a lot different from someone else's full port, and it wouldn't make any sense for me to risk that much money trading options. So it got to the point where the reward of me making money risking my entire portfolio, it didn't equal the amount of risk, right? So let's just say if my portfolio is, let's just say if it's $500,000 and I'm trading options with $500,000 and I'm trying to make money, right? The risk of me losing that entire $500,000 or even 80% or 70% or even 50%, it wasn't outweighing the reward of the money that I would be making. So I really don't advise anyone, it doesn't even have to be specific to a dollar amount. I don't advise anyone to trade options with the entirety of their portfolio, because trust me, like that's how you set yourself backwards. Like more than one time, I've lost a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that, because I thought I knew everything there was to know. And I thought like, I'm gonna make $1 million and $1 off of this. And then I ended up losing money. So someone says 20 to 40% of your account only. I think even like 20 to 30%. Do I buy at the money or out of the money strikes? So I usually only buy like at the money strikes when I only expect for there to be like a small move upward or downwards. But usually my strikes are kind of like out of the money. This lesson is going to be, it'll be saved and it'll be uploaded to the Wealth Squad University. On paper trading until I know that I'm ready to do real money. That's a good idea. Just start. I'm telling you, like a lot of the things that I've learned have just come with time. Like I said, just watching the market and coming with time. Wow, someone said they lost 500K, but I had to lose to perfect my craft for real. I know, man, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's a hard lesson to learn. But if you can learn this lesson without losing a lot of money, that's the best way to learn. Someone said Wendy's chart. Let me see what Wendy's chart looks like. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. All right. So this is Wendy's chart. So looking at this initially, I would add more time to the chart so I can see all of the resistance levels and support levels. Okay, let me take it back down. So it looks like there was a level of support here around $20.25 that it kind of broke through. 1988. Let me see. Wind. Let me see what the MACD is looking like. So it's just kind of like on a downtrend, the price, and then it's kind of been trading sideways. I think I would wait if I were going to be buying calls for Wendy's. I honestly would wait until it crossed above this support level again, until price that's around 1988, until it came back above this support level of 2025. So I will wait until price came back above here to give me more direction, or a clearer direction that the price is going to be increasing and that it may continue to the upside. Because below this support level, I can go further back and add more time to my chart to plot the next support level below this. but price could continue to fall to the next support level below this support level around 2025.
Wrong chart.
Chat.
We're not seeing what you're seeing, Crystal.
Okay, 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm rusty on the Zoom classes. Okay. Um, 1 second. All right, can you guys see the chart now, the Wendy's chart?
Yeah, yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So for whoever asked for me to look at Wendy's chart, as I was saying, there's a support level here that's at $20.25. If it was me, right, prices are right now around $19.88. I would wait most likely until price came back into this box, right? So price came back above this support level of 20.25. That will give me a better indication that price may continue to the upside. If not, as I was saying, below this support level, price can continue to drop to the next level, level of support to the downside. So just to give myself a better indication of the direction of price, I would probably wait if I were going to buy calls until price rose above $20.25. That's all I really have for y'all, to be honest. I already bought some for 520, so pretty far out. Okay, so your expiration date is kind of far out. So you have the time there. I'm hoping that it's gonna come back into that box and then rise above that support level for you. Can you pepper trade on Thinkorswim? I think you can.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so that's really all for me. For tonight, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to be saving this video. I hope it wasn't really long. I guess it was really long. Oh my gosh. Dang, but I'll be saving this video. And then it'll be uploaded to the Wealth Squad University. So thank y'all for coming out. And even if you watch it back and you have questions, just tag me in the Wealth Squad, and then I'll try to answer as many questions as I can pertaining to anything that I went over tonight.
Before you leave, Crystal, will you ever have another class? Like, at least, we don't know when, but when will you ever see you again to get a refresher?
Y'all like my class?
Yes.
Yes.
For real? I was thinking about, I was honestly thinking about having classes where I kind of like broke certain concepts down and kind of like taught things, rather than just going through my strategy and just teaching it as I view it or as I am like executing it. But I'll see. I have a lot of other stuff to do, no lie. And that's why initially when me and Chris started the Wealth Squad and we started doing these classes, we realized that it was kind of impossible for us to be doing classes and then doing other stuff within the Wealth Squad, or like the background work of running the business. Like, it can kind of be a lot. Like today, I need the Wealth Squad. What is it called? The get together. It's coming up, and I got a lot of stuff that I was supposed to do for that even today. And I was thinking, like, why did I tell them I was going to teach a class that I got all this other stuff to do? But I think it's a good idea, though. I was telling Chris, I think it's a good idea for him and myself to just come on and do like classes sometimes so that you guys can, you know, kind of get a feel for my trading style opposed to his trading style or the other providers within the Wealth Squad. So I think I'll be back. Let's let it cool down a little bit with the
Please
other
come
stuff.
back. Please come back.
Facts.
Please come back.
You goated.
Oh, thank you. So thank you. Dang, I appreciate that.
Hey, Crystal, quick question. When is you mentioned a meetup? Like when and where is that? I would love to go.
It's going to be on the 21st of May in Houston. So it's going to be on the 21st of May in Houston. We're going to announce the specific location soon, but it's going to be in Houston on the 21st of May. So if you live in Houston, most definitely come out. If you don't live in Houston, then we hope that you come out also. But it's gonna be dope. I'm trying to tweak some things and pull some things together to make it as dope as possible. We're gonna have a lot of like prizes too. Turkey leg hut time. All right, y'all. I gotta get off of here now. So I'll see y'all tomorrow in the squad. You know, I'll see y'all tomorrow in the squad. And like I said, this video will be recorded and then it'll be uploaded to the Wealth Squad University so that you can play it back. I appreciate y'all too. And good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Facts. Make sure you keep doing this because everybody appreciates it.
Yo,
Everybody.
we greatly appreciate you. We really need this class.
Oh, thank you.